Hi, I'm Alexis from FlexisFitness.com. I'm a personal trainer and movement coach with over 6 years of experience in the health and fitness industry. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the 5 things I wish I knew before I started training. These are tips that I've learned over the years and I wish I knew before I started, and I've taught my clients and keep teaching them today in order to speed up their progress and not make the same mistakes that I've made. So that's why I want to share them with you today. By the way, if you're new to this channel, Flexis Fitness is a community of women who believe that fitness isn't only about looking in shape, but about being in great shape. So if you're all about that and you want to learn more about proper fitness, be sure to scroll down below and click on the subscribe button to join our family and see new videos posted daily. The first tip is you're going to want to ditch your scale. The scale is a great tool to use if you're looking to maintain your weight, but it's not the best way to measure your progress. See, the scale doesn't tell you the whole story. It doesn't tell you when you've shown up to your workouts, how you've improved in your workouts, how you feel in your clothes, the good habits you've been developing, or how you've increased your energy levels. It just spits out a number that can really play with your mind and drive you completely insane. When you first start off your fitness journey, you're gonna lose a ton of weight initially because you're starting to move and eat better. But this weight is gonna be water weight. So the number on the scale might not budge as much later on as that initial big drop. And that's okay because the number on the scale equals your total weight. So what this means is it takes into account all of the tissues in your body, so the fat and muscle tissues. As you keep on exercising, fat will turn into muscle, and muscle is 18% more dense than fat. So since muscle weighs more than fat, the number on the scale will either be staying approximately the same, or in some instances, it may be even going up. So it's super important that instead of focusing on what the scale's telling you, you have to feel it. You have to see your changes in your waist, your hips. They're gonna feel tighter. You're gonna feel your measurements are gonna get smaller, and that's what counts. A better way to do this is to take monthly progress pictures. Progress pictures are a great way to actually see how your body composition is changing, so your fat versus muscle. And it's super important because you'll get to look back on where you started at the beginning of your journey. So even though it's a bit intimidating to take a progress picture at the beginning, it's a really great tool to use because you'll actually be able to follow your progress and look back on the days where you're not feeling that great, you're feeling a bit discouraged, to see how far you've come. This is something I tell all of my girls to do, and they all agree that after getting over the fear of taking that first picture, it's something that they can look back on. It's super rewarding and motivating for them to keep on pushing. So I really encourage you to ditch the scale and start taking progress pictures. The second point is overtraining. This is a common problem, and it stems from the fact that we believe more is better. More is not better, and it could result in decreased performance in your workouts, slower progress, a higher resting heart rate, waking up in the morning feeling tired and unmotivated, and persistent aches, pains, and injuries. Sounds pretty miserable to me, and I would know this for a fact because I've been through all of it. It's super important to listen to your body and realize that taking a break won't kill you. In fact, I've had many clients take a micro break in order to recharge, and they've come back feeling stronger and have even dropped weight that their body was desperately holding on to. So here are some things that you're gonna wanna keep in mind in order not to get stuck in a rut. You're gonna wanna modify your exercise routine and include hard and easy workouts as well as rest days. And on your rest days, you're actually gonna wanna take a break. So if you tend to miss the gym too much and you can't take a rest day, you can think about going for an easy walk or doing some mobility to get your mind off of the gym. You're also gonna wanna aim to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night and track your nutrition closely. It's super important to fuel your body from getting it from good sources of carbs and protein. And you have to remember that working out on empty is like driving a car without gas. It just doesn't work. So keeping all these things in mind, it's super important because you want to make sure that you're resting and recovering from your workouts in order to keep on pushing and avoiding overtraining syndrome. Third point is undereating. So you've probably heard before that by working out more and eating less, you're going to drop the weight quicker. Key word here is quicker and not forever. The body is smart and it knows what to do in order to survive. By undereating, for example, eating less than 1,200 calories a day, you're disrupting many functions in your body, such as you're slowing down your metabolism, which then puts you into survival mode, so you feed off of your muscle cells, and that all the work that you've done in the gym goes to waste because you're trying to build muscle in order to speed up your metabolism, but then you end up eating all of your muscle cells, which makes you store fat. Sounds pretty counterintuitive, right? That's why you need to fuel yourself properly. Undereating also disrupts your hormonal balance, which again disrupts your metabolism. So for example, your cortisol levels are going to increase, and cortisol is the hormone that makes you feel stressed out. And as a result, this leads to increased leptin and insulin resistance, which are two hormones that regulate your hunger. And all these combined have been shown scientifically to cause more fat gain in people. In addition to weight gain, increased cortisol levels also cause fatigue and insomnia. Let me put this into context for you. I'm going to share a personal story here. So back in university, I was personally affected by undereating and overexercising. And just like many girls, I wanted to look good, and I thought this was the way of doing it. So as a result, I lost my period for 2 years. I always felt cold. I had a decrease in my performance, and I just wasn't happy overall. And it was at that point where I went for my blood tests, and my active T3 hormone was pretty much non-existent. And I was on the cusp of being borderline hypothyroidism. So it was at this point that I realized that, yes, I wanted to look good, but I was doing more harm than good. And I wasn't going to let my health take a backseat. So at this point, I knew I had to take action and, fuel my body with good nutrients, so whole foods, and I had to up what I was eating as well in order to get my body fat levels up and my body weight back up. And I also had to lower my exercise intensity. So at first, this wasn't easy for me, but in the end, I realized I was feeling stronger. I was more alert in school. I was able to kill my workouts. My performance in running and cycling increased. And overall, I just felt much healthier. So this is why it's super important to realize that you need to fuel yourself properly, especially when you're starting to exercise and you're starting your fitness journey, because our bodies are this great machine and it's capable of doing so many things, and it deserves our respect. So the fourth point is weight gain and lack of sleep. So a lack of sleep also disrupts your hormonal imbalance and really targets two hormones, which are ghrelin and leptin, and these are your two hunger hormones. So ghrelin is in charge of increasing your appetite and controls body weight, and leptin is produced by fat cells and decreases your appetite. So when you lack sleep, these two hormones go out of whack. So lack of sleep suppresses your leptin hormones, which then makes your body not realize that it's full. So you'd really want to try to get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep per night. Studies have shown that people who get less than 7 hours of sleep per night tend to eat 300 to 400 calories more the next day, which in the end, those are useless calories that you don't need. So if you're already eating 7 hours of sleep per night or more, then great, keep it up. And if you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep, you should really try to aim to get more than 7 hours per night in order to keep your leptin and ghrelin hormones in control. So the last point really ties everything that we discussed in this video all together, because all these things combined could create a really vicious mental cycle. So for example, when you're starting off your fitness journey, it's very common to hear people say, oh, I ate a piece of cake last night, so I'm going to have to go burn off all those calories and run for an hour tomorrow. Or, oh, I can't go to that Christmas party with my office friends because they're going to be having food that's not part of my nutrition program, and I don't want to feel tempted and overeat and fall off track. Because that's not what fitness is all about. I'm here to tell you that fitness is about creating a happy and healthy lifestyle that you're able to maintain. And in order for you to succeed in your fitness journey, you have to just think about creating healthy habits that you can maintain the majority of time, but also enjoy the fun things in life. So really just focus on two important things, and it's to fuel yourself properly while having a consistent exercise routine. And don't think about limiting nutrients in order to lose more weight and over-exercising, because that's not the way to do it. So if you learned something from this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And the biggest compliment you could give to the channel is to share it with 2 of your friends so that you could teach them something and also help the channel and community keep growing.